welcome back to Emotional Mojo. So our next guest had it all, right? We all have our own definitions of that until his life came crashing down. Money, marriage, health, career. But hitting rock bottom became a new beginning for Russ Whitney, and he's here now to share his story and offer some inspiration for everyone else at home. Welcome so much.
Well,
Thank you for
thanks
being
for
here.
having me. I'll tell you what, I'm intimidated being in the studio with all these beautiful
Oh,
women.
come on.
Golly. Thank God I brought my good shirt.
Well, you definitely have a place here on Emotional Mojo
thank
because
you.
your story is amazing. Share with our viewers, if you can, you lost it all. I mean, what does that mean? Because after this happened, you spent 5 years seeking answers, traveling the world. You went on an adventure of sorts. But tell us what happened to cause this.
Sure. I didn't graduate high school and grew up in an abusive family. And then I went on to buy some of these How to Make Money books. And I built a business, which was a publicly traded company that grew to a very large company. And about 2006 or 7, some things happened with the business, and so it started to cave in. The real estate market dropped, and I had a lot of money invested in real estate.
Yes, it
My
did.
marriage of 29 years started to crumble.
Wow.
And I did have favor. You know, I had my own private jet. I had, any car you could want. And there just came a point where I said, what's the point? You know what I mean? Why am I here, God? You know? And
all this
what's the
extra
purpose?
stuff that I have, this jet means nothing if I have no purpose.
And, if I could say, people watching might say, oh, well, he's got money, or you know what? When you're hitting a bottom, $10 anger, anxiety, frustration, fear, and doubt is the same as $10 million anger, anxiety, frustration, fear,
and that's something people can relate to, for sure. Lots of us have hit a point in our life when we're like, nothing's going my way. I'm never going to do any better, but you can. So tell us about your book, Inner Voice, and how it tackles that idea.
Well, first of all, I was crushed to a point where I didn't care about money. I just wanted to know why I'm here. People watching, and I felt like a hamster, and I bet a lot of people are on a hamster wheel. Go to work, get a job,
I think we've all felt that way.
Try to find a significant other, pay the bills, deal with crisis. Every once in a while, we have a family or vacation day. We say, life is good.
Sure.
And then back on the hamster wheel. And 75 years later, we die. I'm thinking, if that's all life was, think about it. Maybe if we get to 75, but I'm thinking if that's all life is about, and there's a God, or an organization to the universe, it would have to be a mean one.
Yeah.
And I figured, you know what? All my life, I went and researched answers. That's how I learned how to make money, and there's strategies in the Inner Voice book for that. But here's what happened: is I didn't really care about that. I decided, because I had some wealth, to go on a mission. I visited, and you read this in the book, and I say this to the viewers as well, that you're going to come with me in this book, because I write just like I talk, like a bedtime story. And so I visited Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Israel, Haiti, Colombia, Spain, worked with some of the top business, spiritual, and thought leaders all over the world. And I wanted to find out how do we find our purpose, number one. We build the past, and then who's right? Are the Christians right? Are the Jews right? Are the Muslims right? Are the Hindus right? Is Wayne Dyer right? Who's right? And I found some very good answers. And I never went on this journey intending to write a book. Even though I have 3 other bestsellers, I went out here to save my own life.
Sure.
That's
awesome.
what made the Inner Voice.
It sounds kind of like a spiritual journey.
Totally.
Like you came to what counselors call the existential crisis.
Right, the life
point
crushing.
of your life.
The life crushing.
Now you have something you call two-way conscious contact. What is that?
Wow.
What is that? How do I do it?
You know what? When I went on this journey, I was raised up in a certain religious type background. I wasn't fanatical about it. But it was a Christian background, and in my journey, I mean, I've been to hundreds of Kabbalah meetings, I've been to Hindu, Buddhist. I wanted to find out for myself, are they all saying the same thing in different times and languages? Is there a commonality somewhere? And I wanted to put that into practice and see if I got evidence.
Okay.
Didn't get evidence, it didn't make the book. Here's one of the things, pray. Okay, I would pray, God, I had great favor, and I would say, God, I don't know which part you did in this, but thanks, let's move on to the next deal. If you want to help out on the next deal, come on. That was my relationship. I never felt like there was a God, and that's what I wanted to determine. And when you look at the galaxies and the thousands of stars and the organization to this universe, there has to be an organization.
I've said that all the time,
I wanted to find it.
Yeah.
Two-way conscious contact is a way to get a direct conscious contact with the God of your understanding. Not my God, not your God, not the Jewish God, God of your understanding.
Yep.
See, and I love that because personally, for me, I believe no matter your religion, it's the idea that there's a right, there's a wrong, and there are consequences to pay.
Beautiful.
And I'm okay with however you believe that pans out if it makes you a good person, you know?
Yeah. Well, what you'll find in the Inner Voice book is not spiritual rhetoric. I wanted a step-by-step program. How do you do that? Like, for example, I found great power in humility.
Yeah.
When I ask somebody about humility, they start to define it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, how do you do it? How do you do patience? How do you do forgiveness?
Yeah.
How do you get a conscious
Put it into
contact with God?
practice and
Tell
show
me
it to
how
others.
to do it. Don't talk about it. Don't
Yeah.
Yeah.
be philosophical
Yeah,
about it.
Yeah.
I want
how
some
do
action.
how do I do that? Well, two-way conscious contact, to answer your question, is this. It's a way to really talk to the God of your understanding, which is inner voice. And here's how we do it. There's a lot of detail in the book, but the simple version at the end is we write it. God, direct me in my thinking.
Okay.
Show me your will for me.
Okay.
And give me the power to carry it out. Thoughts come then. We just write them down, like a things to do list, but on steroids.
I love it.
We'll get 6 or 7 things that'll come. Now don't make it a job. As soon as we make it a job, we're out of the God will.
Sure.
Then what we do is
And
we
don't
take...
filter it when you're doing it. Just
Correct.
right.
right.
No,
Yeah.
don't say it's
Okay.
God, not God.
Yeah.
Don't filter. Now, here's how you tell. We put it through a litmus test called the 4 absolutes. Is it honest? Is it unselfish? Is it pure? And is it loving?
Ooh,
If it has those
love that.
4, you got God.
See, and that's universal,
Yep.
no matter what your
For everybody.
specific beliefs as well.
I mean, I'm getting calls right now, you know, to our innervoicecoach.com website from Sweden. We did a radio show all over the world. It was Hay House Radio, who published the book. Sweden, Denmark, I mean, all over the world. The universal message from Inner Voice has been amazing.
Yeah,
So it's
touching
not a
lives.
religious book,
Yep.
okay? But it doesn't conflict with religion. It's not a book on how to make money, but it's everything about how to
Yeah.
make money.
Russ, thank you
Wonderful.
so much for sharing that insight with us. And again, the book is called Inner Voice. We highly recommend you check that out.